Sometimes in life, we have to have those difficult conversations. How many opportunities have been lost because something important was not said? How many relationships been damaged because people choose silence instead of honesty? How many dreams have been delayed because someone was afraid to have one difficult conversation? The truth is, most people not held back by a lack of talent, not by a lack of intelligence. They're held back by the lack of courage. Because courage isn't just charged into battle. Courage is sit across from someone and saying what needs to be said. Courage is addressing the problem instead of pretending it doesn't exist. Too many people spend months, even years, avoiding conversations that could change their entire lives. They avoid talking to their spouse about the problems in the relationship. They avoid talking to their boss about their goal. They avoid talking to a friend who just crossed the line and continue to cross the line. You haven't checked them. They avoid talking to themselves about the habits that are destroying their future. Every day they avoid it. Problems continue to grow. Problems rarely get small through avoidance. They grow in the dark. It's like a small baseball. You take a snowball, I'm sorry, take a snowball size of a baseball, roll it down a hill with snow, and that snowball becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. The same thing as problem. Problems gain strength with ignorance. A small mistake becomes a resentment. A small misunderstanding. What starts as a small setback becomes a crisis. What starts as a small fear becomes a prison. The conversation you avoid today becomes the burden you carry tomorrow. So ask yourself, what conversation have you been running from? What do you need to talk to? Who do you need to talk to? What truth needs to be spoken? Because growth lives on the other side of discomfort, not comfort, not convenience, not discomfort. The strongest people are not the ones who avoid conflict. They're the ones who face it head on, respect and honesty. They understand temporary discomfort is a small price to pay for long-term peace, for long-term clarity, for long-term growth. You cannot be built on conversation you're afraid to have. I want to make sure we hit this. I want to hit on this real hard. If you are in a relationship and you know that this relationship is going left, you need to have that conversation with the individual and say, "Hey, look, we can't fix this. It's a bigger problem than I thought it was. So we need to kind of just go our separate ways." Have that conversation. Don't keep dragging it on and on and on because it becomes a bigger problem. And another thing is when your grandparents invite their grandkids into their home to live with them, they are inviting you in their home to live with them to take care of them, not for you to come in their homes and torture them. The reason I'm saying this is because I saw a situation where the grandmother had her 18-year-old grandson in her house. This young man takes it upon himself to get mad at his grandmother for taking him to church on a Sunday morning. But the thing I want to make sure we understand, you have to establish rules in your household because when she took him to church, from what the information I gathered, he took her out of here at church because he was so mad at her for taking him, making him go to church. Do you understand how many times my mother made me and my brothers, all my siblings, go to church every Sunday morning? It was a promise. When you open your eyes Sunday morning, you get up, do what you need to do, clean yourself up, take a shower, whatever you need to do. You going to church Sunday, hell or high waters. There was no discussion. But I guess now it's a little bit different. You got to have discussion up front with the different generation of kids of how you want to do things. But you need to have that conversation, set those ground rules. Period. If you avoid that conversation, what's going to happen to you in the long run is not going to be pretty. It's just being honest. Like I said, you don't have the perfect time to pick, perfect time to set somebody down. You find the time. It ain't got to be perfect. Make it happen. Don't let that be your last appearance on earth because you have to have that difficult conversation with somebody. If you know that having the conversation is awkward, I get it. Bring somebody else in with you set with you to have that conversation with the individual. Because every difficult conversation you face makes you stronger. Every truth you speak builds confidence. Every uncomfortable moment you survive provides you with the capability of being more than you thought. So stand up, be honest, be courageous, and remember this: the conversation you avoid may be difficult for a moment, but avoid it can cost you a lifetime of pure hell. That is fact. The conversation you're not having can cost you pure hell. So, like I said, if you're dealing with a situation, don't push it to the side. Confront it right then. Like the person you may be talking to may get a little sideways on you, but it's okay. They'll be okay. Have it anyway. I've had conversations with peers before that really pissed me off. But I let them know up front how I moved around too. I let them know, hey, this is how I move. If you don't like the way I move around, please move out of my way. And do not think you're gonna talk to me any kind of way because I'm gonna check you right there. I'm not gonna let that conversation go until later because I know the type of person I am. It'll build up and it cause more anger. So I address it right then. I let them know up front. I'm not the kind of guy you want to say stuff to and think I'm gonna walk away from it. Sometimes you probably need to, but I can't. I need to address it then and now, not later because at the later time I'm gonna build up too much momentum and stuff that'll come in my mouth is like venom. And I'm telling you, the venom coming out of my mouth later is totally different from what will come out of my mouth then. So I'm saying, guys, please have the conversations. Stop avoiding the tough conversation when it really matters to you. It needs to happen because I'm telling you, don't be a victim in your own home or whatever the case may be. Don't be victimized by someone you know that you need them out your life. Do not let these people that call themselves your friends become a person that crosses the line all the time. As Carly Murphy would say, I call them line crossers. They continue to cross the line. They will not stop crossing the line until you check them, put them in check. Because life is short. You have to have fun in your life. You don't need hell in your life. Who wants to live in a house but pure hell? You got grandkids taking over your house, telling you what you can't do in your own house. That's not going to work. Because I've seen too many times. I've seen where grandmothers and mothers are getting hurt by their kids. Some because you haven't had that conversation up front with them. You got to call a spade a spade. Have that difficult conversation with them. You bring them in your household. Here are the rules. You do this, this, and this. You don't like it. You can get to stepping. You can get to stepping. You got to go. Don't avoid it. Attack it. Don't say, "Oh, that conversation is just not worth having." Yes, it is. It's worth having. I promise you. My parents had that conversation a long time ago with us in the household. Hey, I get it, man. Graduating high school, you just trying to get your feet on solid ground. I understand that. Once you get on solid ground, you gotta go. You gotta pick up the pieces and move around. You can't live here no more. You're grown, and I respect that because they sought ground rules up front. And that's what you have to do with anybody dealing with set ground rules. Don't be afraid to have that difficult conversation with them. So what? They get mad, and what? They can move around because they get mad at you. Tell them to move around. Life will continue with or without them. Don't you live in a relationship where you know you're catching hell in it and you're going to continue to take hell for the next 2 or 3 years? No, not I. I'm not going through that. It needs to suit you. Shut it down. Have that conversation. It may make you feel uncomfortable. So what? Feel uncomfortable. And you'll be all right. But avoiding the conversation costs you a lifetime of pure hell. Face it, speak up, and handle it. Watch your life begin to change the moment you stop running from what truly matters to you. It's not about what matters to everybody, it's what matters to you. When you make that decision that I have to have this conversation with this individual because if I don't, it's going to become more and more difficult to have it. And the longer you draw it out, the more it becomes a thorn in your side. Whatever the case may be, if it's your job, your personal life, dealing with your members or your kids or your grandkids. Have the conversation, let them know where you stand and how the rules are going to be distributed amongst the household. Because I promise you, once you lay out the ground rules and whatever you're doing, this is when you tell them you cannot cross this line because This is what's not going to happen, but this is what's going to happen. If you decide to cross the line and you want to get a little sideways on me, I will call what they call the popo on you to handle you accordingly. You gotta be straight up with them and be honest about it. If you're gonna do it, call them. Like I said, I've seen a case where one grandmother is going to call the police on her daughter and her daughter because they was taking her check and spending it. Once she found out that she wasn't getting any money, she decided to let them know that I'm gonna call the police on y'all. Once that was established, you can imagine what happened to the grandmother. And I'm not gonna say it, but that's what happened to the grandma. She's not here now. She can't enjoy her money I think she was 77 years old. She can enjoy her money because we let our ignorance as children take over because we are too lazy to get out and get a job to work. Now, her life was shortened because of you wanting to take over somebody else's household. To me, you are a guest in my house, and you're going to treat me with respect. You're not going to live in this house and take what's mine. You go work for yours because most people at that age don't work for what they have. It may not be a lot, but it's what they have for themselves. So who gives you the right to just swoop in and stay in somebody's house and take what they earned when you have not put a lick of work in your life, but you want to take, and give nothing, nothing. But you want to take them through hell. You think you can live in heaven? You in heaven? That's not going to work. So I'm gonna drag you to hell with me. I promise you that. So I'm going, you better jump on the train because the train coming with me too, and you and the daughter coming with me. We all ride this train to hell together. Don't you ever in your life not have a difficult conversation with somebody that you need to have it with. Don't you let them try to trick you out of something that belongs to you. Life is short. Enjoy every minute of it. Don't you allow yourself to be speechless against people who are trying to take advantage of you. Don't you allow anyone to talk to you any kind of way and you let it go on and on and on. You check yourself at the door and say, let me address this issue now before it becomes a bigger issue. You let them know how you feel. And you let them know I'm not going to accept you trying to talk to me any kind of way and I'm going to let it go. Don't let it go. Put it in motion then. I guarantee you'll feel a heck of a lot better once you check whoever you need to check then. Establish the ground rules of your home and whoever your spouse is. Establish those ground rules and let them know, hey, this relationship is going to hell in a handbag. And I think it's time for us both to sit here and split ourselves up. You go your way, I go my way. I get it. Times are hard. The hard times make good people because you're going through hard times. You keep going. It will get easier as you keep grinding and grinding it out. Don't allow a person to say, because here's what a lot of people run into. I'm sorry I went that way, but they let the person who's in the household take control of the house and you have no say so. That may go on for years. And then when you finally decide to get a little hair on your chest, you want to say what you need to say, they begin to chastise you. And you be saying this, who the hell are you? You got to stop that. You can't allow that to continue on. Have that conversation. Shut it down. Wait for it gets to that point. Establish ground rules in your home, on your job, whatever the case may be. Establish ground rules. Establish the same ground rules with your friends. You call them your friends, establish that ground rules with them. Let them know, hey, that's unacceptable. We're not doing that. Even if they're not your friend, they may be your colleagues at work. Establish ground rules. Let them say what they need to say, but tell them that they can't say that out of pocket. They say stuff out of pocket, address it right then. If you don't, the more you think about it, the madder you're going to get. And at that point, you're going to lose control of yourself. I'm telling you right now, I've been in that position where I've lost control. And I'm telling you right now, if I did something I would have regretted it later at the time. I would have just done what I needed to do. But me knowing that this kid was young, I had to pull myself back because she was not worth the tea in a damn teapot. So understand what I'm saying is please, if there's an issue that needs to be addressed, don't be afraid to address it. Don't pretend that it does not exist because it does exist and it needs to be addressed. Don't allow people to pull you down to their level. Have that conversation with them, let them know where you stand and stand your ground. If you are a grandmother, you got grandkids that stay in your house that's 18 and 20 years old, Make sure they have the one thing they need is a job and responsibility. If they don't have either one of them two, send them back to the parents. Send them back to their mom and dad. Let the mom and dad deal with it. You don't need to deal with it. You're older now. Live your life to your fullest. It's your time to live, so live. You made your money. You have contributed to society. Enjoy your little money. You might not have the money to travel like you want to. That's okay. Just do little things that you always wanted to do. But don't you sit there and don't you ever not have that difficult conversation with your grandkids or your kids, your daughters or their husband, whoever it may be. Have that difficult conversation with them. Say, hey, this is what's not going to happen because I'm not going to allow anybody to take me down and think you can take me out and you can continue to live your life. That's not going to happen. Time is short. Have fun with your life, but please have those difficult conversations with the people you need to have it with. Don't avoid it. Don't dance around it. Have it.